good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're coming to me from. My name's Kerry, but most importantly, g'day, because I'm coming to you from Australia. Welcome to my knitting channel or my podcast, whatever we're going to call it. And I'm going to call it My Knitting Life. I'm coming to you today from Newcastle, Australia, which is on the east coast. It's about 2 hours north of Sydney. So currently I just checked and it's about 19 degrees and it's pretty overcast because we're supposed to have rain, but we haven't had that much today. In fact, the whole east coast is supposed to have a lot of rain and there's a lot of flooding supposed to be happening in different places. So we don't need any more rain. We actually don't. Anyway, did I say my name's Kerry? I don't know. My name's Kerry, hello, and I live in Newcastle, and I live with my husband Colin and my 2 grown boys, and currently one of them is upstairs, so I hope he doesn't make too much noise with his music, and the other boy is actually overseas in Greece. They both are at university and it's university holidays at the moment, so we'll see how that all pans out. I also have a dog who's just asleep over there. Normally he doesn't leave me alone, but it's his nap time for the afternoon, so hopefully he'll stay in his bed, which I've had to rearrange to do all this, and hopefully he'll leave me alone. Also have a daughter, can't forget her. She's married and she lives in Sydney, so yeah. So keeping with tradition, today I'm drinking sparkle water that I made myself because I'm crafty like that. Had coffee earlier this morning and actually I've also had a cup of tea, so we're down to the sparkle water. So this is actually a test run. Well, it will be the 3rd test run of all of this. So I did try and record, well I did record and uploaded, video edited and uploaded and did all that, added music at the beginning and the end. And then when we played it on YouTube, you couldn't hear me talking. So here we go again. Yeah. It was funny because I was actually watching a podcast yesterday and you could see that the girl had some eyeliner on, and my husband looked at me and he said, you should wear makeup the next time you do that. And I looked at him and I said, I did have makeup on. Anyway, thanks for the encouragement. So I've been knitting for about 2 years, which of course there's a bit of a story to that. I'll give you the condensed version. My girlfriend and I thought that we'd ask my mum we found a cowl, I don't even know where it was, and it was a bandana cowl, and we asked my mum could she make one each for us, because my mum knits. And then we just decided that we didn't need mum to make it, we could just get her to teach us how to do it. So off we went and got some wool, and the rest is history. But the trouble with that was that we both kind of knew how to knit. We could knit slipper socks, which were knit with acrylic wool, DK held double, and not too difficult, just knits and purls. But the cowl had a few extra bits and pieces in it, including wrap and turns, and it turned out to be quite the challenge. We drove my mum insane, and I still don't know how I managed to do it because I'm only just starting to understand wrap and turns 2 years later. Anyway, perhaps I'll get mum on another day and she can give you her side of the story. So I've been thinking about doing this for a while, And I thought actually that my girlfriend and I could do it together, but unfortunately she went and got a job that doesn't allow that. Although perhaps she might be here tomorrow and we might have a little go tomorrow. So then I'd been watching some podcasts and I'd seen other people doing MCAL series, and I thought, oh, I could do that. Look at me, haven't even done one, and here I am talking about doing a whole series. So anyway, that's still on the cards, but the MCAL actually starts tomorrow. That's why I'd done this on Tuesday, earlier in the week, but it didn't turn out. So here we are today, and my mum comes for knitting day tomorrow, so perhaps we'll do some things with that tomorrow. She's going to bring her shawl from last year, and I will have my shawl, and I might get Natalie to bring hers. That'll be a good idea. So let's talk about finished objects. My recent finished object I'm actually wearing, it's the Lone Skein Shawl by Hercule Catelli, and it took me, I noticed, about a month to knit, including having it taking it away on a short holiday that my husband and I went on during the month. So I'm sure you all know about this. It's a one skein shawl product. One skein shawl. This is not as easy as you think, people. So here's some detail. Thought I did quite well with it. There was some lace work, and I'm not very experienced with lace work. Can you see that? Well, no. Did get confused in a couple of places. I had the right stitch count, but I wasn't sure that I had the right number of stitches to do what she wanted me to do at the end. But anyway, I kept going and it all turned out, and I even did the little picot edging. I don't know if I'm going to do the little dangly bits. What are they called? Oh, the tassels. Because I don't know if I'm going to get that much wear out of this, because it's not really my colour. It looked alright on, I suppose, but maybe with a jacket or something. But I'm a blue girl, blue and grey. Blue and grey. But I decided to do it with this because this is wool that I dyed myself. So a couple of months ago, I decided to do a bit of dyeing, and this was a couple of the skeins that I dyed up. So I still, this is how much I have left. So I do have some that I could do the little things with. So I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, I dyed up two at the same time. And this is the other one. It's a bit lighter than the one that I actually knitted with, because I did something different to this one. So you can see maybe that it's a bit lighter. The light's not real good in here today because I'm just filming this on my phone. Got the lights on, but it's a bit overcast. So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, because it's not really my colour, but it is sock wool, so it can always be turned into that. I did dye quite a few other bits and pieces that week, just experimenting. Looking over there because they're sitting over there. So perhaps I'll show you them another time. So that's my latest finished object. It's not blocked. It's got this funny shape here, I don't know. I saw someone else's that was a bit like that too. It's very hard to show you. Where I started with the the tab cast on, whatever it is. So maybe that'll block out, I don't know. But anyway, it's not really warm enough for our knits. It's not really cold enough for our knits still. It doesn't get terribly cold here where I live. Sometimes I think we should move further south so we get to wear the knits a bit more. Anyway, finished object. Yes, because I don't finish heaps of stuff because I like me a whip. I have a few whips because I tend to get bored. I swap and change. So I did take this away with me. I'll tell you about that later. That's why I got a lot of work done on it and I managed to finish it. Yes. So the next thing that I wanted to show you was something else that I'm about 80% done with. And it's actually out of this book that I bought at Spotlight. And it is actually this little jacket that's on the front. So why am I making a baby knit? Because we're actually expecting a little one. My daughter's pregnant and she's due in January. So I'll show you the bits that I've done. Well, yes, it is a patterns, as I said, showed you the book, a patterns, Peyton's pattern. And it's a very old pattern, I think, because I did have trouble at some stages working out what the pattern meant. It wanted me to do this thing every fourth row and that thing at the end of the row, but also something every alternate row or however many it was, and I just couldn't work it out. So I sat down with my mum and wrote out each row and worked out where the decreases should be, and that was good because I just followed that. So I've got the back bit. I think this is the back bit. The edging is a little picot edging, which I had not done before I'd done this. So what happens is that you somehow fold it over. Trying to see underneath my glasses. Fold it over and sew it down. And you end up with this, let's put it against a little picot edge. And then you've got the little detail further along. So I have a back piece, I have two side bits because it's all pieced together. I've never sewn anything up before. So the little side pieces that come down the front, I've got two of those. And then I hadn't yet finished this the last time I filmed this episode, but I also have a sleeve. And this morning I started the second sleeve, so it will be all pieced together. It looks really long, so I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll see. To be honest, I don't know whether my daughter will put her in it because she's due at the beginning of January, or the early part of January, and it's very hot here. So we'll see. I'm knitting the 0 to 3 month size, so perhaps by the time she is 3 months old, it'll be April, and it will be starting to get a little chillier then, so maybe she'll be big enough to put in it then. And then I have got the second sleeve started, which I've just done the little edge. Haven't got yet to the little pattern. So this project, the wool is just good acrylic patterns wool, because I don't think my daughter would be able to have a baby and hand wash stuff. So it's just good old baby wool. And the colour is 2540, which is white. So I have been keeping this project in this bag. And this is a bunny bag by Sandy by the Lakeside. It's her little label she puts on things. Sorry about looking up my nose. And it's got this lovely gingham, grey gingham inside, and the dark denim on the outside. And I think it's called a bunny bag because you fold it up and bunny ears. So that's the other thing that I have been concentrating on recently to try and get that done before the MCAL starts. So the reason that I got this done so much when we went away, well, my husband and I went walking in Tasmania, and we went walking for 4 days, and we did about 48 Ks, and with a backpack, uphill, down dale, up mountains. We did the Three Capes track. It was lovely, highly recommend it. I didn't actually take that hiking, but we spent a day or two either side in Hobart, and we went to Bruny Island one day, which was a lot of driving, and I did some car knitting, and I also worked on this before and after on the plane trips. So yeah, that was good. And while I was there, found the Salamanca wool shop. We stayed sort of at the dock area in Hobart, and anyone that knows that, Salamanca is just across the other side, but quite easy to get to. And we actually went there on the last morning we were in Hobart, and they have electric scooters that you can hire via an app. And because we're still young enough to do that and had never done it before, we hired the electric scooters, and we went all around the dock area, and we didn't actually go into the road area of Hobart, but we just stayed around the dock. And we ended up over there at Salamanca, where they have the Salamanca markets. And while my husband went back to the hotel across the other side and checked out and got the car and everything, I went to the wool shop. So I did make some purchases. First of all, I did buy 2 of these. One was a slightly different colour. I have already given one to my mother. So this is wool by the Dizzy Devil yarn from Tasmania. I had never heard of this yarn dyer, so of course I had to get some. And it is just her sock yarn. And the colourway is Lady Aurora Dances. So it's quite purple, quite lovely. I think it will be socks. Can't remember what the colour was that I gave my mother, but it wasn't too much different to this. So that was the first purchase, and then came across this. Which way? That way. This is alpaca yarn. It says alpaca sock yarn. Just says alpaca sock yarn. Oh, here we go. 70% alpaca, 30% nylon. So good for socks, made in Peru. They had lots of lovely colours, solid colours, and these are the 2 that I came home with. And I actually asked the lady in the shop how they knit up, and she said, to be honest, that she hadn't knitted with it, so we shall see. So that was my trip to the Salamanca wool shop. And as part of this podcast, I wanted to perhaps highlight some of the great indie dyers that we have here in Australia. And the first one that I wanted to mention was the first hand-dyed yarn that I bought a couple of years ago, and that is a lady called Cass, and she has her yarn business is called Skip Rope Yarn Co. And this is actually one of hers. This is my favourite colour that she does. It's called Cloud 9. It's a lovely grey. It's actually it's coming up a bit lighter on the screen. But anyway, so Cass is not only an Australian yarn dyer, she actually is from Newcastle too. So that's great. So the first 2 balls of wool that I ever purchased were turned into these. So they are a little bit darker than they are showing on screen, and I can't show you what they look like in the ball because I've knitted them. So the pink is actually called Candy Candy Candy. Stop showing you up my nose. And the bluey colour is called Airy Fairy. And I have worn these many times and they're wearing quite well. So if you're interested, go and check out Cass's shop called Skip Rope Yarn. And I know I was on there before to actually find the colourways. She does actually have these 2 listed, so go and check her out. If we keep going with these things, we might even get her on here one day. That'd be fun. So since I had filmed earlier in the week, I actually got something in the mail. So I thought I'd just show you that. So this yarn is from Daffodil Road Yarn, and she's actually from Tasmania as well, and I looked her up. So this is actually one of her sock clubs. So earlier in the year I'd purchased this one, and I think December. So that will be good when I get that. And this was her inspiration, and this little photo came with it. And here is the yarn. I think she pretty much nailed that. Let's have a look. Oh, this is difficult to show you this. Let's have a look. What do we think? So I don't know what this lady's name is, but she's Daffodil Road Yarn, and I noticed she was in Tasmania. And this is her colourway Splash, which was the October sock club for this year. 75-25, 400 metres per 100 grams. So that will make something fun in the future, probably socks. Okay. Alright, we got to the end. We made it. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't showcase my ball of wool. This is my bookshelf where I keep the wool. So I thought it would be a great place to shoot the podcast. So let's talk about the MCAL, which starts tomorrow. I do have a kit, or 2 or 3. We might have to make a decision. Maybe you can help me do that. Thought I might do a bit of filming about that tomorrow because my mum is coming with hers, and we might talk about our experience from last year. So I wonder how that will go. I think it took me about 6 weeks to do last year's MCAL, and I was a very, very beginner learner. Had a great time. Even did the brioche. Yes. But the videos were all great, so, you know, he's a great teacher, and we're looking forward to that. Okay, I think that was everything. It's a bit longer than I thought. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope somebody watches. I think my mother probably will. And my girlfriend Natalie, that'll be 2. That'll be excellent. So, learning from last time, please like and subscribe. That will be great. And we might do a little series, if I can manage that, on the MCAL, see how we're going through that. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. all afternoon. I haven't done any knitting.